Are you one of those people who wake up once, twice, or even 3 times a night to go to the bathroom? If so, make sure to stay until the end, because what you're about to discover could literally transform your sleep and your health. I'm Dr. Hillman, and today I'm going to explain something that many people don't know. A lot of people think that getting up at night to urinate is just normal as you get older. But no, it's not inevitable. In reality, it's a warning sign your body is trying to send you. The medical term is nocturia, waking up at least once a night to urinate. And believe me, this seemingly minor inconvenience actually has a profound impact on your sleep, your energy, and even your heart. Each time you wake up, it interrupts your deep sleep. This crucial phase is when your body regenerates, produces hormones like melatonin and growth hormone, and your brain clears out toxins that have built up during the day. When these cycles are interrupted, your entire metabolism gets thrown off balance. A Japanese study conducted on more than 1,200 people over the age of 60 showed that those who got up 2 or more times per night had a 40% higher risk of daytime sleepiness, chronic fatigue, and mild cognitive disorders. This is far from trivial. And that's not all. Getting up half asleep at night isn't just annoying, it's also dangerous, especially as you get older. When your brain is still in a sleep fog, your reflexes are slowed down. Your blood pressure is lower and your balance is more fragile. As a result, the risk of falling skyrockets. And a simple fall at night can have serious consequences. Hip fracture, wrist fracture, loss of independence. Sometimes it's exactly this kind of accident that can turn your whole quality of life upside down. And all of this simply because your body can no longer properly regulate urine production at night. But why does this happen? Well, it's a lot more subtle than you might think. When we're young, our brain produces a magical hormone called vasopressin. This hormone acts like a nighttime brake. It tells your kidneys to slow down urine production while you sleep. It's thanks to this hormone that you can sleep through the night without needing to go to the bathroom. But over time, the natural production of vasopressin gradually decreases. As a result, your kidneys keep working as if it were daytime, and your bladder fills up faster. And like every muscle in the body, the bladder also ages. It gradually loses its flexibility and its ability to hold urine. In other words, it becomes more sensitive. Even when it's only half full, it already sends an urgent signal to your brain. As a result, you sometimes wake up for almost nothing. And each time your deep sleep is interrupted, your circadian rhythm gets thrown off, and the next day you feel that lingering fatigue. It's a real vicious cycle. But there's another factor that we rarely talk about. During the day, especially if you spend a long time sitting or standing, gravity pulls fluids down to the lower part of your body. Your legs and ankles may swell slightly. It's not just fatigue. It's water trapped in the tissues. And when you lie down at night, all that fluid returns to your bloodstream, passes through your kidneys, and ends up in your bladder. As a result, your body starts producing urine again, even if you didn't drink anything before going to bed. And as if that weren't enough, there's a third factor, even more common: unbalanced hydration. Many people, thinking they're doing the right thing, hardly drink anything during the day, then tell themselves, "All right, I'll make up for it tonight." As a result, the body ends up with a massive influx of water to process right before bedtime. And of course, it has to get rid of it. So, you wake up once, twice, 3 times. But the good news is that there's a natural, simple, and scientifically validated method to fix all of this. No need for medication or invasive treatments. In reality, it all starts with better synchronization between your hydration, your diet, and your sleep rhythm. Your body works like a clock. When you give it the right signals again, it naturally regains its balance. That's exactly what I'm going to show you now. How can you rebalance your hydration throughout the day so your bladder stays calm at night? What common mistakes make nocturia worse without you even realizing it? And how can you help your body restore its natural nighttime rhythm so you can finally sleep through the night without interruption? Remember, everything I share here is for informational purposes only and does not replace medical advice. But if you apply these simple tips, your body will start to recalibrate itself. And in just a few days, you can already reduce the frequency of nighttime awakenings and regain deeper, more stable, more restorative sleep. Because good sleep is not a luxury. It's the foundation of your energy, your memory, and your longevity. When your body lacks water, your urine becomes more concentrated, more acidic, and ends up irritating the lining of your bladder. As a result, it contracts more often, even when it's not full. A study conducted in Sweden on more than 900 adults actually showed that people who drank less than 1.5 liters of water per day had a 30% higher risk of nocturnal nocturia, simply because their urine was too concentrated. Incredible, isn't it? In other words, drinking enough during the day helps you sleep better at night. Mistake number 2. Thinking the problem comes from having a small bladder. A lot of people say to themselves, I get up at night because I have a small bladder. But in reality, in more than 80% of cases, it's not the size of the bladder that's to blame. It's the amount of urine produced during the night. In other words, it's not your bladder that's malfunctioning, it's your whole body that's no longer able to regulate the rhythm of urine production between day and night. And this nighttime overproduction is no accident. It's very often a reflection of lifestyle habits that can be corrected. First, hydration. If you drink very little during the day, your body enters a state of dehydration. It retains water, concentrates urine, and as soon as you rehydrate in the evening, your kidneys go into overdrive. Result: massive urine production at the very moment you should be sleeping. Next, food. Certain foods promote water retention during the day. Salt, processed foods, ready-made sauces, and at night, your body tries to get rid of this excess. It's a cycle you can break simply by adjusting your diet. And finally, hormones. As you age, the production of certain hormones becomes unbalanced, especially vasopressin, also known as the antidiuretic hormone. It's the one that normally sends a message to your kidneys to tell them, it's nighttime, slow down urine production. But when its secretion decreases, your kidneys keep working as if it were daytime. And your bladder, even if it's perfectly normal, fills up too quickly. So many people confuse an overactive bladder with a nocturnal hormonal imbalance. However, these are two completely different things. The good news is that in most cases, you can take action without medication by better regulating your hydration, reducing stimulants and salt, and adopting an evening routine that helps your body get back to its natural rhythm. You see, the problem isn't the size of your bladder, but rather how your body manages water and its internal signals during the night. And that's exactly what we're going to fix together in the next part. Mistake number 3, consuming caffeine and alcohol in the evening. Oh yes, I know. That little glass of wine to relax after dinner or a hot drink with some chocolate, it's an almost sacred ritual for many people. But physiologically, it's a real disaster for your sleep. Let's start with alcohol. When you consume it in the evening, even in small amounts, it blocks the action of a key hormone, ADH, also known as the antidiuretic hormone. This hormone normally tells your kidneys to slow down urine production during the night. It's what allows you to sleep without waking up every 2 hours. But when alcohol is circulating in your blood, it deactivates this natural mechanism. The result? Your kidneys keep filtering at full speed, your body produces much more urine, and your bladder fills up faster. You might be thinking, yeah, but alcohol helps me fall asleep. And that's true. In the first few minutes, alcohol acts as a sedative, giving you a feeling of relaxation and helping you fall asleep quickly. But this sleep is deceptive because it deeply disrupts the natural structure of your sleep. You spend less time in deep sleep and more in light or restless sleep. You wake up more often, sometimes without even realizing it. And in the morning, you feel drained, as if you barely slept at all. And caffeine is even worse. It's a powerful stimulant and a natural diuretic. It acts directly on the kidneys to increase urine output, but more importantly, it blocks an essential sleep molecule, adenosine. Adenosine is the neurotransmitter that naturally makes you feel sleepy as the day goes on. Caffeine, on the other hand, blocks it. It prevents your brain from receiving the signal that you're tired. As a result, you might appear to fall asleep, but your brain stays active, a bit like a computer on standby that never really shuts down. And just because you're used to coffee doesn't mean you're immune. Even if you no longer feel the stimulating effects, caffeine remains active in your body for 5 to 6 hours, sometimes longer depending on your metabolism. In other words, the coffee you have at dinner, or even the one you drink at 5 in the afternoon, keeps disrupting your sleep until late at night. And be careful, caffeine isn't only found in coffee. You can also find it in black tea, green tea, chocolate, cola-based sodas, energy drinks, and even in some so-called stimulating herbal teas. To give you an idea, a cup of coffee contains about 80 to 100 milligrams of caffeine, black tea has 40 to 60 milligrams, and a square of dark chocolate has 20 milligrams. And all of this adds up over the course of the day. So, what should you do? If you want to protect your sleep, avoid caffeine after 3 in the afternoon and limit alcohol, especially in the evening. If you want a relaxing ritual, opt for an herbal tea without theine or a glass of warm water with honey and lemon. Your body will thank you, and so will your bladder. Remember, the quality of your sleep depends as much on what you do before going to bed as on what you do during the day. Just one coffee or a glass of wine taken too late can be enough to throw off your internal clock and force you to get up several times during the night. So try it for a week. Replace your evening drink with a gentle, caffeine-free beverage and observe your sleep. You'll see how quickly your body regains its natural balance. Mistake number 4. Drinking too much before going to bed. It's an almost universal reflex. Before going to bed, many people have a big glass of water with their medication or a nice hot herbal tea to relax. And yet, this seemingly harmless little habit is one of the most common causes of waking up at night. Why? Because the water you drink doesn't just disappear immediately. It has to go through a long process before being eliminated. First, it goes through your stomach, then your intestines, enters your bloodstream, and finally reaches your kidneys where it's filtered before ending up in your bladder. And this process is much slower than we think. On average, it takes an hour and a half to 2 hours. In other words, the glass of water you drink at 10 p.m. is still being processed at midnight. As a result, by the time your body finally enters deep sleep, your bladder is filling up. And 2 hours later, you wake up to go to the bathroom. That's why I always recommend to my patients what I call the sacred 2-hour window. 2 hours before going to bed, you turn off the tap. No drinks unless absolutely necessary. And if you really feel thirsty, 1 or 2 sips are more than enough. But be careful, that doesn't mean you should drink less during the day. In fact, it's the opposite. You should anticipate your hydration, not try to catch up in the evening. The idea is to give your body time to process liquids before sleep, not while you're sleeping. Imagine your renal system as a factory. During the day, it runs at full capacity. It manages, eliminates, and balances. But at night, this factory needs to switch to energy-saving mode. If you send it another liter of water at 10 p.m., it has to start working again when it should be resting. And your sleep ends up paying the price. Another important point. Evening herbal teas, often seen as harmless, can contain diuretic plants without us realizing it. Verbena, chamomile, or mint are soothing. Yes, but some detox or slimming blends promote water elimination. As a result, your bladder fills up even faster. So, here's the right strategy. Drink most of your water before 4 p.m. Gradually cut back after dinner and stick to a no-drink zone in the 2 hours before bedtime. If you take medication, try to take it earlier in the evening if possible. And above all, just before going to bed, empty your bladder completely. It may seem obvious, but a lot of people forget this little step. And believe me, it makes a huge difference. Remember, your sleep is a time for repair, not for digestion or filtration. If you want your body to regenerate, you need to give it the inner calm it needs. Respecting this 2-hour window is one of the simplest and most powerful ways to reduce nocturia and get back to uninterrupted nights. Mistake number 5. Consuming too much salt is a mistake that almost everyone makes without even realizing it. We often think that the problem with salt is only about blood pressure, but in reality salt directly affects your water retention and therefore the amount of urine your body produces at night. When you consume too much sodium, your body tries to maintain a balance. And to compensate, it retains water in the tissues to dilute this excess. It's a simple biological reflex. The more salt there is in your blood, the more your body holds onto water to avoid an imbalance. As a result, during the day you retain water. Your legs or ankles may swell slightly. You feel heavier, sometimes even bloated, without understanding why. But what many people don't know is that at night, all this accumulated fluid tries to be eliminated. When you lie down, gravity changes. The fluid returns to the bloodstream, passes through the kidneys, and ends up in the bladder. And then, your body starts producing more urine to get rid of this excess sodium. The result? Guaranteed nighttime awakenings. And it's not just about table salt. Sodium is hidden everywhere. In ready-made meals, canned soups, aged cheeses, pre-made sauces, deli meats, and even in some breads or savory biscuits. You can consume up to twice your recommended daily amount without even touching your salt shaker. The World Health Organization recommends less than 5 grams of salt per day, which is about a small teaspoon. but most people consume between 8 and 12 grams, often without realizing it. And the effect is insidious. The saltier your diet, the more water you retain during the day, and the harder your body has to work at night to get rid of it. See the vicious cycle? Fortunately, it's very easy to reverse the trend. First tip, taste before adding salt. Most of the time, foods are already seasoned enough. Second tip, limit processed foods. Cooking for yourself, even simple meals, lets you control how much salt you add. Third tip, replace salt with herbs, mild spices, lemon, or garlic. This enhances the flavor without overloading your body. And after just a few days, you'll notice the difference. Less bloating, less excessive thirst, and above all, fewer nighttime awakenings. Your body will naturally regain its fluid balance, and your bladder won't fill up unnecessarily at night anymore. Remember, every small adjustment counts. Reducing salt isn't just about protecting your heart, it's also about giving your body deeper and more stable sleep. Because a well-balanced body sleeps better, recovers better, and ages much more peacefully. But be careful, the solution doesn't rely solely on what you drink. It also depends on what you do before going to sleep. And this is where a simple but incredibly effective strategy comes in, one that few people know about. It allows your body to naturally eliminate excess fluid before the night. And with just one action to do each evening, you can already notice an improvement in your sleep as soon as this week. Now let's move on to action. How can you stop getting up at night? No need for medication or complicated techniques. Just a few simple adjustments to your daily routine. First, smart hydration. Drink water, yes, but at the right time. Ideally, 70 to 80% of your water intake should happen before 4 p.m. That way, your body has time to naturally eliminate the excess before nightfall. Start as soon as you wake up. Drink a large glass of water to rehydrate your body after 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Then, always keep a bottle within reach and drink regularly in small sips. This steady pace keeps your body well hydrated without overloading it at the end of the day. And that's just the first step. Next, I'll show you the most effective evening routine to help your body drain excess fluid before going to bed, so you can get back to continuous, deep and restorative sleep. You don't need to force yourself to drink, but never let yourself get thirsty. After 4 p.m., simply slow down your pace. Drink more slowly, in smaller amounts. And above all, in the 2 hours before bedtime, apply what I call the liquid fasting rule. No drinks, unless it's really necessary. 1 or 2 sips are more than enough. And just before going to sleep, always remember to completely empty your bladder. This simple action prevents a small buildup of urine from waking you up in the middle of the night. Second pillar, managing salt and irritating foods. Salt attracts water. It's a biological law. The more sodium you consume, the more your body retains water, which it will then have to eliminate, often during the night. So, reduce added salt, limit ultra-processed foods, cured meats, very salty cheeses, and industrial soups. And be careful with dishes that are too spicy as well. Pepper, chili, and hot sauces irritate the bladder lining and increase the urge to urinate. Third pillar, posture before going to bed. This is where science meets simplicity. Remember, during the day, fluids accumulate in your legs because of gravity. When you lie down, all that fluid moves back into your circulation, passes through your kidneys, and ends up in your bladder. But you can anticipate this phenomenon. Every evening, elevate your legs for 30 minutes before going to bed. Lie down on the couch, place 1 or 2 pillows under your calves, or rest your legs on a chair while you read or watch TV. This simple action promotes venous return, reduces swelling in your legs, and allows your body to eliminate excess water before the night. The result? Less urine produced during sleep and longer, deeper nights. Fourth pillar, regularity. Your body loves routines. Try to go to bed and wake up at regular times, even on weekends. Why? Because your biological clock then synchronizes the production of all your hormones, including vasopressin, that famous hormone which reduces urine production during the night. With a stable rhythm, your body naturally regains its balance, and the results come quickly. Several of my patients have told me that by applying these 4 principles for just 10 days, they already noticed a difference. Less urge to go at night, whole nights without waking up, and above all, a morning energy they hadn't felt in a long time. But be careful, there's one last essential point. Nocturia isn't just a matter of your bladder or hydration. Sometimes it's a sign of a deeper imbalance in your body. In other words, It's a warning signal you shouldn't ignore. For example, an excess of sugar in the blood. Diabetes, especially in its early stages, can show up as frequent urges to urinate, even at night. Why? Because excess glucose draws water into the kidneys, which increases urine production. Another common cause is the heart. When heart function weakens, your body accumulates fluid during the day. And at night, when lying down, this fluid returns to the circulation and stimulates the kidneys. As a result, you spend the night going to urinate. Sometimes, this is an early sign of heart failure. Studies conducted in Australia on more than 2,000 people showed that 1 in 3 people suffering from unexplained chronic nocturia actually had an underlying cardiovascular disorder. And then there are other causes. Hormonal changes, such as menopause, prostate enlargement in men, or even certain diuretic medications taken too late in the day. When should you see a doctor? If you get up more than twice a night for several weeks despite having a healthy lifestyle, talk to your doctor, because a seemingly harmless symptom can hide a more serious imbalance. But remember this, you already have tremendous power over your sleep. By adjusting your hydration, reducing salt, respecting the sacred 2-hour no-drink window, and elevating your legs before bed, you're sending a clear message to your body. It's time to sleep, to truly recover. And believe me, deep, continuous restorative sleep isn't a luxury. It's real natural therapy. It's the moment when your brain clears out waste, your heart slows down to regenerate, and your immune system quietly grows stronger. Every full night of sleep you reclaim is another step toward a stronger body, a clearer mind, and a longer, more peaceful life. So, if this video helped you better understand what your body is trying to tell you, leave me a comment just below. Tell me how many times you wake up at night, and especially which strategy you're going to try first. I read every message personally because it's thanks to your feedback that I can create content that's always more precise, more useful, and better suited to your needs. And if you want to go further, I invite you to download the Smart Hydration Guide on the Next Stage Health website. There, you'll discover how to naturally rebalance your water cycle and deeply improve your sleep. And of course, subscribe to the channel. Every week, I explain the science of healthy aging to you with simple, practical tips that are backed by research, so you can stay strong, clear-minded, and full of energy at any age. Because aging doesn't mean declining. It means understanding your body and giving it the right signals again. I'm Dr. Hillman, and I promise you that. If you listen to your body, it will help you live better, longer, and with real quality of life. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you very soon in a new video.